great day and welcome to day number 3 of Labmas. Now today we're going to do a quick activity and experiment with clouds. We're going to learn a little bit about clouds, the different types of clouds, and what clouds bring. So stay tuned. Now, one of my favorite things to do is be outside. I love to spend as much time outside as possible. And one thing I really love doing is looking up into the sky and looking at the clouds. But did you ever wonder how they got up there? Well, in today's activity, we are going to identify the ways that clouds are formed, the different types of clouds, and what clouds bring. Now, today I am all by myself.
We're back. Wait, he's all alone? We got him today. There's 2 of us and only 1 of him. Oh, we got him today.
But you know what? It's okay to do experiments by yourself sometimes, especially if they're as easy as the one we're going to be doing today. Now, before we get started, there's a couple things we need to do before. 1, we need some background information of why we're doing this experiment. 2, we got to go through our questions and hypotheses before we do the experiment, don't we? So let's go ahead and start with our background information. So what do you already know about clouds? Well, yeah, they're big, they're white, they're puffy, they're in the sky. But did you know that they're part of our water cycle? Now, if you don't know what the water cycle is, it's a series of 4 or 5, depending on how you look at it, steps in which water is recycled in our weather system. The same water that we're drinking today was around the time of dinosaurs. Yeah, think about that. The water you may be drinking in your water bottle right now may be the water that dinosaurs drank out of, because it just recycles. Now, if you look at the word recycle, it's got the word cycle in it, doesn't it? A cycle is a repeated step, so it goes around and around and around, hopefully forever. Now, our steps of the water cycle, pretty easy, all right? We're gonna start with collection. Now, when you think of collection, you think of the ocean, the lake, a puddle even. It's a collection of water, all right? And I always do this with my arms when I think collection, so I'm gonna collect it all. Then that water heats up, and what happens? Very good, it turns to vapor. So we have evaporation. So we got collection, we got evaporation, all right? But then that warm water vapor reaches a cold surface. Now, this cold surface could be anything from your car windows to, well, the upper atmosphere. Now, once that warm water vapor hits that cold surface, do you know what it does? Very good, it condenses. Condensation is the 3rd step. Now, for condensation, I usually do the motion this. What does that look like? Very good. It looks like a cloud, which is going to be our focus for today. So we start collection, evaporation, condensation. What's our next step? Well, sometimes those clouds get too filled with water vapor and condensed water, so it gets too heavy. Now, the great thing about Earth is we have something called gravity. Now, gravity is going to pull down that water vapor, or the condensed water, and it's going to form into precipitation. Very good. I think you already knew this. Precipitation is moisture in liquid water or solid water that falls from the sky. Now, examples of precipitation would be rain, sleet, hail, snow, freezing rain, all right? These are all things that fall from clouds when they get too heavy, all right? So that's our background information. And the cool thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, after precipitation, and you get runoff, it runs off, and it goes back to what? Very good, it goes back to collection. So let's go through our system again real quick. We got collection, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and then back to collection. Very good. Now that we have our background information, let's talk about just the 1 step, and that is condensation, okay? So what we're gonna focus on today are the different types of clouds. We're gonna focus on how clouds are created, as well as kind of what they look like when they get too full. So our easy experiment today is gonna include maybe four ingredients, okay? One, you're gonna need a glass container, something that you can see through, all right? Now, plastic would work if you could see through it, okay? Two, we need water. That's pretty easy. It's the water cycle, isn't it? All right. Third thing we're gonna need is shaving cream. Now, as you know, I use a lot of shaving cream. Look at this. But we're gonna use shaving cream to simulate our cloud. And then we're gonna use food coloring to simulate our precipitation, okay? So our question is this: can I create a simulation of what a rain cloud looks like as it is about to rain? My hypothesis is, yes, I can, because this is a very easy experiment. It's a fun experiment. And I'd say, let's go ahead and get started. So let's go head over to the lab. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 3 of our Labmas celebrations. Now, as you can see today, I am alone, but that's okay sometimes. What we're going to be doing today is some easy experiments that deal with the water cycle, that deal with how clouds form, as well as how precipitation falls from the clouds. Now, if you remember from earlier on in the video, we talked about the entire water cycle, didn't we? Okay, so today we are going to test it. Now, activity number 1, very easy. But before we do our Labmas experiment, we're going to definitely need to know the scientific process. So step 1 is always create a question. Now, our question today is, how does precipitation fall from clouds? Now, we see it rain all the time. We see sometimes it snows. But how does precipitation fall from clouds? So our hypothesis is going to be, well, after we do our experiments, we're going to have to figure out and make a guess of how precipitation falls from clouds. Well, we know it falls down because of gravity, but what causes that? So our hypothesis is that we can probably show just how precipitation forms and falls from the sky. So our supplies that we're going to be needing today for our really easy experiment are going to be water, a container, and something that you can tell that I use every single day, shaving cream. And we have one more ingredient, and that is food coloring, because you're going to see just how precipitation falls. So our first step for our experiment is just to pour our water into a clear container. All right. Now, for our cloud, what we're going to use is the shaving cream. And as you can tell, I don't often use shaving cream, so using it for science, definitely going to be a good use of this. So why we're using the shaving cream is because it's going to be less dense than the water. Now, in future Labmas Day Miracle experiments, we are going to talk about density, so stay tuned for future videos. But what's going to happen is, as I put the shaving cream in the water, it is going to float on the top. And that's kind of what we want, because this is going to represent our cloud. Now, when you think of a white puffy cloud, there's one type of cloud that you should be focused on, and that is the cumulus. Now, the cumulus clouds are usually, when someone's asking you to draw a cloud, that's the type of cloud you draw. It is white and puffy. But there are other types of clouds out there. Starting from the bottom, we have fog. If you've ever seen fog before, that is the lowest to the ground, and sometimes we can drive through it. But I don't recommend it because it is hard to see, isn't it? All right. Then above that, we have stratus. Go ahead and say stratus. Very good. Now, a stratus cloud is a low cloud, but they're layered, sort of stacked on top of each other. Now, usually when we have those cloudy, overcast days where it looks like it's going to drizzle all day.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I love rain clouds, especially when it's raining on a day in which people want to have some fun. Oh, I love ruining people's fun, don't you?
that's when we see stratus clouds. Our next type of cloud as we go up is our cumulus cloud. I don't know why I just held this, but we're going to see a cumulus cloud momentarily. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have one of my favorite clouds above that, cirrus. Cirrus clouds are phenomenal. They are very thin. They're mostly ice crystals. And when we see a cirrus cloud, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have some incredible weather. And ladies and gentlemen, I love North Carolina, and I love being down here, especially when I see those cirrus clouds. So now that we know the different types of clouds, let's go ahead and create a cumulus cloud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it up first because, well, we got to have enough foam here. And I am going to go spray it on the top. Now, the cool thing about this is, as you can see, it expands. We're going to make our cumulus cloud even bigger, because why not? All right, so if you notice, the shaving cream has indeed stayed on the top, hasn't it? So what we're going to do now is take our food coloring, and of course, you know, I'm going to choose blue because it's going to show up very nice. And we're going to take a few drops and place it on the shaving cream. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I have a few drops there. So I just placed it and, well, nothing's happening yet, is it? Well, why not? Well, either I don't have enough shaving cream, which I think I have plenty of shaving cream, or maybe I don't have enough food coloring. That could be it. But if you notice, it's staying in the cloud. Now, it's not moving yet, is it? Well, this is the water cycle, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't happen that quickly, all right? When we're talking about the water cycle, we're talking about things that, a system and a cycle that takes time to work. So what I'm gonna do is a time-lapse video of just what is gonna happen for this experiment.
This is taking forever. Why can't they hurry up the rain? I want to see the rain. Why is this taking so long?
So, what did you notice? Well, first of all, it did take a while. And that's okay to take a while. This is kind of why I like doing this experiment by myself, because I could sit here and watch it as it fell, or as the food color fell. All right, this is an experiment that's gonna take a minute because, well, think about the water cycle. It doesn't happen when you want it to happen. It just takes its own time. And it does take a while for the whole water cycle to go all the way through. Now, as we look at our cloud, we could see that after a while, the food coloring mixed in with the water got a little too heavy, so it fell through the cloud of shaving cream. This is the same thing that happens in every cloud, all right? Every cloud that brings precipitation is gonna at some point get a little too heavy. Now, you've seen this before. If you've ever seen a cumulus cloud or a cumulonimbus, which is a storm cloud, it gets a darker color, doesn't it? Now, if you notice at a certain part of the video, the shaving cream got darker in certain areas, didn't it? Well, the darker the cloud, the more precipitation that is stored up. And eventually, because of the force of gravity, eventually that rain is going to get so heavy in the cloud that it is going to turn into precipitation. All right?
Wait, he did it. There was two of us, and he did it. Oh, no. You know what? We'll be back tomorrow.
You know what? That might have been too easy for him, but for us, we get to see everything that happens with a rain cloud, and it looked pretty cool, didn't it? All right, so just as a review, we have our different types of clouds. We have our fog, our stratus, our cumulus, our cirrus, and our cumulonimbus, which causes the storm clouds. All right. So hopefully you get a chance to try this at home. I hope you enjoy it. And ladies and gentlemen, happy Labmas. I cannot wait to see all of you tomorrow.